There is nothing wrong with you, but I'm guessing you don't agree. So I'm going to tell you a story of how you likely landed in this place of feeling just wrong, and then I'll suggest a roadmap for getting to a place of knowing that you are deeply okay. All right, when you were born, you were this amazing spark of energy. You came into life and you were just vibrant with life force, and you emanated that life force outwards because this is what you were designed to do. You were designed to be a unique expression of life that radiates from your core to the outer reaches of the universe. But you were born to humans, traumatized, pain-filled humans who had forgotten what it was like to be a pure, bright spark. And often it's mom, poor mom, not to blame her, but as she was our first relationship due to our being physically connected to her, it was often mom who started to feel really uncomfortable about your natural, instinctual, life-filled expressions coming right towards her. So she said, "No, you can't be that way." Well, the interesting thing about all life forms is that they have a very powerful, innate, self-protective mechanism designed to protect their vital life force and protest against anything that tries to subdue it. All life forms have this instinct to self-protect and protest, whether it's a rose bush with sharp thorns, a bee with a stinger, or an octopus who squirts ink when threatened. You also possess the instinct from an early age to protect yourself. And so when you were told no to your natural self-expression, no to your natural life emanations, you sent self-protective energy at mom like, "Rah!" Which, as you might imagine, made mom feel even more of a hard, "No, that is not okay. It is not okay that my child is behaving this way." And she turned away from you to teach you a lesson, which was terrifying to that little you. In your terror, your natural self-protective force began to identify the parts of you that caused your caregiver to pull away as actual threat to your survival, and you squashed those parts. You also learned to suppress your natural instinct to protest against the parental forces that shut down your authentic self-expression. And you constructed a mask self-designed to keep your caregivers engaged, to keep them present and involved with you so that you could survive. And boy, did you make it look thoroughly enticing to your caregivers. Yes, if your caregivers needed their child to be nice, you became not only nice, but loving and sweet. If they valued success, then you became successful, powerful, and competitive. If they needed you to be quiet and smart, you became that, and probably very helpful. Or perhaps for them to pay attention to you, you had to become needy and weak. All of your energy was put into hiding unacceptable parts to your caregivers and showing only those that were acceptable. A perfectly constructed, idealized self derived from all of the ways you had to be in order to maintain a connection to your caregiver. It didn't matter if it was a good connection, it just needed to be adequate enough for survival. The drive to maintain this mask is largely unconscious and very, very strong. So strong that the ways you believe you have to be to deserve love and connection still feel very real, long past the formative years and circumstances that caused you to shape yourself that way in the first place. Also, this place beneath the mask, the realm in which we learn to go against ourselves and suppress our urge to protest against powers that controlled us, this shadow realm is known as the lower self. This is the part of your personality that actively engages in self-negating behavior and the squashing of all of the parts of yourself you believe to be unacceptable. It is also the place that harbors revenge and bitterness, hate, pride, all of those feelings kept in the shadows that we don't take responsibility for. For where we suppress our need to protest against forces that go against our natural expression, there will always be bitterness, rage, and a thirst for revenge. But because they are relegated to the shadow realm, we don't openly admit to the dark feelings here, and we certainly don't take responsibility for them when we send them out sideways at people. So your bright, authentic, life-filled self is encapsulated beneath a layer of socially acceptable mask and a layer of self-negating energy that hates on yourself and others. But your authentic self is in there, so what do you do to find it again? This is where support is helpful because it can be hard to bring the unconscious to consciousness, and that's what you're going to have to do. First, get really conscious about all the ways you have to be in order to be lovable and acceptable. Who is that person you're supposed to be, and where did the beliefs come from that said you had to be that person? And what happens? What do you feel when you aren't able to successfully be that person? As you engage in this inquiry, you will find that the imperative to occupy your mask starts to loosen its grip. Even more challenging is to get real with yourself about your lower self. By owning and taking responsibility for all of the ways you wish harm on yourself and others out of revenge for all of the ways you had to squash yourself to survive. This work is particularly slippery because the lower self grew its power in the shadows and it does not want to be seen. But nevertheless, you must bring that shadow realm into the light of conscious awareness in order to loosen its hold on you. The work here is to release all of the ways you block yourself, because this experience of mom is no longer related to your current ability to survive. I don't care how strong your mom is or how much she intrudes upon your life currently. The truth is, if you're an adult, she is no longer in charge of your survival. But many of us unconsciously operate as though she still is. The more you challenge and release your mask, and the more you take responsibility for your lower self, the more you can align with your higher self and remember yourself as a divine child of life. This is the work of learning to love yourself and to know that you're really okay. Time to know that you are perfectly imperfect. Time to understand that all aspects of your original essence, all aspects of your vital life force energy have a right to be expressed, that they are beautiful and should be free.